The best Marvel rival characters are already decided upon by the community, but there are some equally strong heroes that have slipped through the cracks. If you play these heroes right now, before people realize, you're going to get a lot of free wins, because nobody realizes their true power yet, and by learning them now, before they become the new meta, you'll definitely surprise your enemies and bathe in MVPs. And I still think these heroes are strong even in high level ranked. Starting with Adam Warlock. There is so much to talk about with Adam Warlock. Firstly, why is Hela so overpowered? Mainly because she has a hit scan weapon that does a ton of damage. Who else has a hit scan weapon that does a ton of damage? Oh, Adam Warlock. It turns out everyone who's maining Duelist didn't take the time to try the support characters to find out Adam Warlock has a very strong primary weapon. It doesn't quite do as much damage as Hela's, but it does do a lot. Headshots do a lot of damage as well, and it has more ammo, almost double the amount of ammo as Hela. So if your aim isn't amazing, then Adam Warlock is more forgiving than Hela. Oh, and he's a support character, which means he can heal his teammates. And if you get in a 1v1, guess what? Just look at the ground, press your heal button, and you'll heal yourself. You have so much health in a 1v1 because you can heal yourself multiple times because this healing ability has stacks of cooldowns. So if you somehow miss a bunch of shots, you still got more ammo than Hela does. You can heal yourself in the middle of a fight. You got a really nice right-click attack that does a decent amount of damage as well. And oh, what happens if you die? Doesn't matter. You can just sneak around and respawn right there and get straight back into the action. Yeah, Adam Warlock has a passive that lets him revive himself. Oh, and what if your teammates suddenly get killed by a barrage of ultimates from the enemy team? Not a problem. Adam Warlock's ultimate can spawn back anyone dead within a 10-second period. You can pretty much bring back your whole team if you have it ready. I honestly can't believe how I've slept on Adam Warlock myself. I do play support quite a lot. I've been playing Luna Snow, Mantis, but I didn't realize how strong Adam Warlock really is. He has so much staying power as a support, which is really, really important because people will constantly try and target the supports because they are the most important character to keeping your team alive. The only thing that I will say about Adam Warlock is his healing output isn't quite as good as other heroes. Luna Snow and Mantis are much better. Even Jeff the Shark is a lot better. So if you are playing Adam Warlock in ranked, you're probably going to need to run a dual support setup. 2 supports, 2 DPS and 2 tank. Otherwise, you are going to struggle massively because the healing output is not quite as good. Next up, we have Namor. Now, honestly, I think people are already catching on to Namor. To begin with, a lot of people kind of thought he was pretty bad. But turns out he's really amazing. Not only that, he's really easy to use. Remember at the start of Marvel Rivals, everyone thought it was ridiculous that Scarlet Witch has an auto-aim attack. You just go near them and press fire and it does damage. Namor has 2 little octopuses that will auto-aim on anybody in the area and any traps in the area, and it has a really long-range attack. You just throw these octopuses down and you'll rack up tons of kills without even knowing what's going on. Namor also has an infinite ammo primary attack that does a decent amount of damage and a fast projectile speed, which means it's really easy to use. It is a bit slow firing, but once you get the hang of it, you're going to be racking up a bunch of kills. And Namor's secondary attack is really cool. It throws a spear, it does damage, and it makes the octopuses go on overdrive, throwing a barrage of attacks on whoever the secondary attack hit. Namor is just ridiculously strong with the amount of damage output he can have, and if you're a duelist and you have Luna Snow as your support, you absolutely need to play Namor because he gets a 3rd octopus that's even stronger. So you have 3 octopuses out at once dealing a massive amount of damage. Now Namor doesn't have much staying power. Oh wait, no, he does. If he needs to get out of a dangerous situation, he can use his shift ability, which not only repositions him, but makes him invincible and invulnerable for a short time. And you can then just ping to your healers that you need healing and be healed whilst you're in this invulnerable state. Yeah, it's not as good as a Hela or a Scarlet Witch, but it's still very strong. Most duelists don't have an ability like this. And the really cool thing about Namor is You can set up an octopus or two if you've got Lunar Snow on your team, hidden in the backlines, and then throw an octopus in front of you, and the octopus will tank damage for you, and your attacks will go straight through it, meaning you've got a little bit of extra power and defense. Nemo's ultimate, in my opinion, is pretty cool as well. It won't always kill people, but it will knock them down on the ground, which is pretty nice. Next up, we have, I can't believe I'm saying this, Iron Man? Yeah, remember everyone thought Iron Man was kind of bad? Well, why was he bad? Because Hawkeye and Hela are very strong characters that can shoot a character like Iron Man out of the sky. But once you get to Diamond and above, Hawkeye and Hela get banned all the time. You don't really see many Hawkeyes and Helas in high level rank because they get banned, which means Iron Man is free to roam the skies. And Iron Man is really, really strong. He's a great counter to Penny Parker. He can destroy the traps very easily. He can look over group walls. He can shoot people and do area of effect damage to kill anyone that's trying to run away on low health. He sees everything from a really high point of view. And he's not the best on all maps, but with some practice, you can peek corners just like you would any normal character, except you're really high in the sky. And when you use his overpowered feature that makes all of his attacks more powerful, he will do even more damage output. I actually think that if you're playing in high-level ranked and Hawkeye and Hela get banned and you're playing on a map with a lot of good cover at height, then Iron Man is really strong and massively underrated. A lot of Iron Man players right now are just flying around in the sky out in the open, which is not the right way to play. Just pretend that you're on the ground. How would you peek corners? You would make sure that you peek from the left side, peeking out, dealing a bit of damage, and then going back into cover. Just play like that, and you'll realize Iron Man is actually really strong, and I can't believe I didn't realize it myself. Next up, we have Thor. I think at the higher level of play, Thor will fall off a bit, but if you are, I don't know, from bronze to platinum, he is amazing. He is so strong because basically what you do is you shift into enemies to knock into them. That will engage you into the fight. You then press your E to recharge your Thor hammers, and then you press your F ability to do a bunch of area of effect damage, and more importantly, get a bunch of extra health. And then you just spam your melee attack. And a lot of people will just let you do it. They'll keep trying to fight you, and the more you spam your melee attack, the more you'll get your Thor hammers back, which allows you to use your abilities more often, which will then reset your cooldown and give you more health. It's this constant sort of recurring ability cycle that just doesn't stop. I've gotten so many 30 and 40 kill games with Thor at this point because he is so good at just constantly annoying the enemy team, and everyone gets annoyed by Thor and they're like, okay, let's try and kill him. But the more Thor gets up in people's faces and does more melee damage, the more sustain he has, and he doesn't even need a healer to help him most of the time. Now, once people get a bit smarter and realize that Thor isn't so good when you just back off and shoot him from range, yeah, he will fall off. But like I say, from bronze to platinum, people don't know how to deal with him, and he is easy wins. Easy wins. The next hero is Black Widow. Yeah, no, I'm kidding. She's just bad. I mean, who knows? Maybe in a month's time, I'll come back and say Black Widow really is overpowered. But not really. I want to talk about Cloak. Not Cloak and Dagger necessarily, but Cloak. I'm really interested in the damage potential of some of the support characters right now, and Cloak and Dagger is really interesting. When you're playing as Cloak, you do mostly damage-based abilities. The primary attack on Cloak is very similar to Scarlet Witch. It will auto-aim in a certain radius to the nearest character that you're aiming at, which is pretty cool. It's really easy to use. Now, the difference between Cloak's attack and Scarlet Witch's attack is Scarlet Witch's is based on the health percentage of the enemy. So the more health they have, the more damage your attack will do. So it's pretty good at dealing with tanks, but when it comes up against actual targets like duelists and strategists, you're mostly going to lose out unless the enemy you're fighting at doesn't have very good aim, because you don't do much damage. The thing is with Cloak's main attack is you do a lot of damage. Yes. It is not based on the health, it just does a nice clean 75 damage a second. I see so many Cloak and Dagger players 90% of the time just playing Dagger and only really switching to Cloak when they want to do the ability to make their teammates invulnerable, to stop them from Jeff ults and that stuff, but Cloak's actual damage output is ridiculously good because you're auto aiming on. It's a constant 75 damage a second, and then when you need to, you can obviously heal your teammates with Dagger as well, so, pretty good. Cloak and Dagger overall, not the best healing potential in the game, in my personal opinion, but she's still pretty decent. But yeah, I can't believe people aren't playing Cloak enough. And also, a really important thing about Cloak and Dagger's ult that just I can't believe that this is still happening. Yes, Cloak and Dagger's ultimate can do damage, it can. But I'm seeing so many Cloak and Daggers ultimate into the enemy team. Do you want to know how much damage it does? It does 30 damage a second. It does less damage than Cloak's main attack by like more than double, but people are throwing their ultimate into enemy teams. It's not really designed for that. It's designed for healing. Cloak and Dagger's ultimate does 220 seconds of healing. Now, yes, you can sort of like triple it up because you can do 3 dashes, right? So you could do a bit more damage per second, but not really more than the main attack. Like, it's meant for healing. It's meant for healing, and people haven't figured that out yet. At least a lot of Cloak and Daggers haven't anyway. So yeah, some really important tips there. And honestly, if you're a support character, give Cloak's abilities a try. If you feel like you're falling off because your DPSs aren't doing enough damage, just switch to Cloak for a bit and you'll have a good time. Alright, so there we have it. 5 more heroes that I personally think are really strong right now because nobody expects you to play them. Besides maybe Namor, he's kind of getting a bit too powerful. But yeah, try these heroes out and you will be surprised. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the comments. Cheerio!